April 10th meeting of Garden Grove City Council. Madam Clerk, would you like to call roll?
Is your green light on? You ready? Roll call. Councilmember O'Neill.
Here.
Councilmember T. Nguyen.
Here.
Councilmember Bowie.
Yeah.
Councilmember Klopfenstein.
Here.
Councilmember Kim Nguyen.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Beard.
Here.
And Mayor Jones.
Here. Can I ask Kingsley Okariki to lead us in an invocation, and then Councilmember Pat Bowie to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Okay, we pray tonight to whatever source we turn to for strength. We pray that as leaders of our community, we might have the insight and courage to serve the citizens with wisdom and truth. We ask for your guidance in making decisions that affect our community, ensuring that decisions made this evening are in the best interest of our city and its citizens. Amen.
Please put your hand on your heart and repeat after me. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. That takes us on to presentations, and we do have a community spotlight tonight.
Yes, we do. We have a community spotlight in recognition of Sister Britt O'Shea for receiving the prestigious title of Garden Grove Citizen of the Year from the Cypress College 2018 Americana Awards. And Mr. Okareki is here to read the community spotlight.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. This evening, the Garden Grove City Council pays tribute to a very special resident whose constant and meaningful work in the community has earned her the prestigious title of Garden Grove Citizen of the Year from the Cypress College 2018 Americana Awards. I'd like to ask this year's Garden Grove Citizen of the Year, Sister Britt O'Shea, to please come forward. Each year, Cypress College honors citizens from 8 surrounding cities that form the college's primary service area at their annual Americana Awards ceremony. Award recipients are chosen based on their philanthropy, partnership efforts with the community, and their humanitarian work. Born and raised in Kilkenny, did I say it right? Kilkenny? Yeah, Kilkenny, a medieval town in southeast Ireland, Sister Britt O'Shea moved to California in 1974. She obtained her master's degree in pastoral administration from the University of San Francisco and also in theology from Seattle University. Sister Britt O'Shea served as principal at St. Columban School from 1984 to 1992, where her most recognized accomplishments included making the school more affordable for many families and establishing a preschool at the school. Sister Britt O'Shea's passion to help the homeless led her to establish the White House at the Stanford Avenue and Nelson Street, where the homeless can receive clothing, food, haircuts, and more. Every Saturday, the White House serves about 80 to 100 people. As St. Columban's School chaplain, Sister Britt O'Shea has been leading and organizing retreats for adults and counseling children for 15 years. She also leads the Rite of Christian Initiation of Adults program, a process by which adults can become members of the Catholic Church. Sister Britt O'Shea, exceptional service to the community and city goes beyond words and is further exemplified by her selection as this year's Cypress College Americana Awards Garden Grove Citizen of the Year. Her efforts to enrich the lives of others have not gone unnoticed. At this time, the Mayor and City Council would like to present Sister Britt O'Shea with a resolution in honor of her meritorious recognitions. Congratulations.
Alrighty. We will move on to oral communications. I do have a handful of cards. Roxanne Klept.
Excuse me. First, I want to apologize for my cell phone. I'm still a little behind on the technology, and so my sincere apologies, especially to the award, the woman that got the award. My name is Roxanne Klatt. I'm a member of the Carpenters Union, and I'm 30 years in the Carpenters Union. I grew up right down the street here, Santa Ana, Garden Grove. Grew up coming to the Strawberry Festival here. Second thing I want to do besides apologize is thank you all for your service. We really appreciate it. What the Carpenters Union is trying to do is have us as members go to city council meetings. So we're not used to speaking in public usually, so my apologies for my nervousness. But what we want to do is let you know the services that we're providing to veterans. We have a program for veterans. If they're interested in not continuing, actually even continuing going to college, because we're using technology that is pretty amazing now in the buildings that we're building. So we have a program for women, we have a program for veterans, we have a program for for young people coming out of high school, if they're not steering in the direction of college right away. And I just want to thank you for your time. And well, the thing I want to say, if anyone's interested, is we have this is tough, standing here. We have our training center right over in Buena Park, and if anyone, including the people in the audience, are interested, it's an amazing place. What we say to ourselves and to each other is we don't want it to be a museum. We want it to be a place that people are there all the time, utilizing, going to school. We have continuing education that even myself, after 30 years, first aid, and right now I'm taking OSHA classes that are pretty amazing, actually, on the weekends. But we have our training center that we're inviting everyone to, if they're interested, and just give a phone call over there. They'll be happy to give you a tour. And thank you for your time. Appreciate what you do.
Thank you for coming. Holly Hogler. Hagler, I'm sorry.
I wanted to talk for the CDBG.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I had you mixed in under oral. My bad. Okay, Deborah Ashby from AQMB.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the council. I am Deborah Ashby. I'm with the South Coast Air Quality Management District. And I'm here tonight just to make a couple of quick announcements and provide you also with a copy of our latest newsletter to keep you up to date. The first announcement is actually an invitation. I'd like to encourage you to attend a meeting we're having next week. It's in Anaheim, Tuesday, April 17th from 6 to 8 at the Brookhurst Community Center. We're holding a series of community meetings soliciting input from the community, from businesses, from anyone in our region regarding some of a couple of new laws that have been enacted that impact our communities. AB 134 is providing funding to replace older heavy-duty vehicles, equipment, and other diesel sources in our region, and it'll involve replacing with newer, cleaner technologies. AB 617 is an opportunity to collaborate more with communities. It's really about driving what we do down to the community level more and assessing at some of the more local impacts of air pollution and what we can do to address those issues. We encourage you to come early because we're going to have our experts there that can answer questions. I brought flyers for you. And then the second is just wanted to announce that nominations are now open for our annual Clean Air Awards. Each year, AQMD honors individuals, businesses, organizations, and sometimes local governments for their efforts to help us clean the air. So I brought the little cards that gives the information, and if you need any help with filling out the nomination, I'd be happy to help you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thomas Raber.
Hi, and my name is Tom Raber. I was here last month with long gray hair, and the month before that with long gray hair. So I'm going back to the 60s, I guess, a little bit. Reason why I'm here is, again, because of Bailey Street and the address of 12782 Bailey. There's three things that continue to come up. The first one, on the photos there, and just so you know, I take my pictures with my smartphone. So it time stamps it and date stamps it. So the first one is blocking the public sidewalk, which is vehicle code 22500 sub par F. You cannot block the sidewalk. I called the police one day 3 different times. The first vehicle was up there for 8 hours. 8 hours blocking the sidewalk. I'm handicapped, my mom is handicapped. So I'm not going to go ahead and walk in the middle of the street to go ahead and walk on a public sidewalk. I've already gone to the police station twice, talked to 2 different lieutenants. I've talked to Pam, the secretary on the 3rd floor, and I'm setting up a meeting with the chief of police and the mayor about this and the other items. So again, the first item is blocking the sidewalk. As you can see, the second picture was a gate. The gate's been there for 8 years. The city personnel, when it was owned by the city, that gate always went inwards. And because they put 8 truckloads of dirt, they could not push it inwards no more. And so they blocked the sidewalk. Okay? Item number 2 on this is the new law that came into Garden Grove, which is 10.56.115 of the RV and trailer parking permit only. As you can tell, I got a picture of a real nice vehicle. That same vehicle, that RV, has been parking on Bailey for years. I called twice on this vehicle. First time, the police didn't do nothing about it. Second time, they did come out, and whenever I do call the police, I mention 10.56.115. They have no idea what I'm talking about. That's the reason why I want to talk to the chief about that and the sidewalk. I've already talked to Sean Park, and, you know, I'm going as far as I can as a public citizen. Now, per the law that the previous council did, the vehicle, RV, or trailer has to be parked exactly in front of that address of the permit. The lieutenant I talked to just this last week, or this week itself, stated to me it's as close as they can get to that address. That's not the way it's written, okay? It's not written that way. It's written you got to be parked in front of that address the permit is given for. Item number 3 is the property next door to me that was collapsed in 2009. It's been vacant for over 8 years. I love the law. As long as you can read it, well, basically, City Hall doesn't want me to show up there no more. They're passing me around to each person, and now I'm the handicap with David Dent. So I did talk to David on the phone yesterday, but the problem is, the way it's written in the law for a new building is, first of all, you have to get a grading permit. That contractor did do that. Second thing is you need to get a soil content, a certification on how that foundation is going to be. Again, 2009, that house collapsed because of the water table being so high. So I asked where the soil content is, the certificate. City Hall keeps on coming back and said it was already done in November 20th of last year. Again, I take phones, all the photos with my phone. It's stamped. First of all, the permit for grading wasn't done until January 31st of this year. How can the city think that a soil certification, before the soil was even there, could constitute that being a certification for that slab? There, as you can see, the very bottom ones, they're already ready to pour concrete. Okay? Oh, yeah. Is that 5 minutes?
Yeah.
All right,
Just
thank
about.
you.
Yeah. That is all the cards I have. Is there anyone else wishing to address council on something not listed on the agenda that did not turn in a pink card?
Oh, my gosh.
Dr. Ann Newsom. Ann Newsom, please come forward, Doctor.
I have a number of names. I would ask to be last on the agenda in order that I learn if this issue has already been settled without my knowledge. If that is a possibility, if one of you that is aware that I should have known by normal communication means, I will wait till the last of the. Stephanie, do you know?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to. So this is oral communications. You're the last one to
Okay.
speak in oral communications.
Okay, perfect. I'm speaking about the resurrection of Old Main Street, Garden Grove.
Okay.
That it does not seem to be going forward. Indeed, it may collapse. I learned from my adult youngest, who learned on Facebook, that some of the facilities, restaurants, farmers markets, so forth, were closing. And in order to enjoy it one last time, I went Friday night. I asked to be last because since Friday, I've been collecting signatures, not just that agree with me, and many of them are printed by parents of minor children, like this one, who enjoys going to Doug's with her family. That includes a just turned 4-year-old who is tolerated in that place where others he couldn't be. I've been by 102 Cafe. I don't know whether this is correct in Vietnamese, but I asked him what I was concerned about, and he used this paper to write his feelings. I understood the young man to agree with me, but he may have written something totally different and I wouldn't know it. These children and my Jewish neighbor all believe that Garden Grove, Old Main Street, should be preserved. My family is grown, and one is coming back home.
I wrote my mission to save Old Town Garden Grove. And these signatures come from Bobby Sox, way out on Valley View. It encompasses what used to be Central Garden Grove, Bobby Sox. And now there isn't Central up the street. But these families all listed themselves, their children, family members that came to the Bobby Sox games out on Valley View. I would just ask, I know my time is up, that you respect the fact that at least these people would like a chance to determine what goes in or out of Main Street. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Doctor. Is there anyone else wishing to speak who has not submitted a card? Okay, seeing none, we will close. Oh, please.
Never done this before. I'm actually a forensic psychologist. I've been working 18 years up there in Chowchilla. But just to reiterate some, I think, the overarching concern with downtown Garden Grove and some of the proposed changes and the potential negative impact on individual businesses, and that be taken into consideration when making changes to the community at large. I'll tell you when I get home. But in doing research and statistics, I would encourage, it's about community care from what I've ascertained, even speaking within, there's a significant percentage amount of churches within that area. And my experience has been that population tends to be silent on, or passive when it comes to self-advocation or advocating for the city, because they tend to keep it within the church. So respect their positions as well when you take whatever you're doing into account. That's all.
Thank you. Okay, and we will close oral communications and recess to successor agency. Madam Clerk, would you like to call roll?
Councilmember Beard?
Here.
Member O'Neill?
Here.
Member Tu-Ha Nguyen?
Here.
Member Klavenstein?
Here.
Member Kim Nguyen?
Here.
Vice Chair Bowie?
Yeah.
And Chair Jones.
Here. We already did oral communications simultaneously with City Council, so we'll move on to consent items. It's receive and file and approval of the warrants. Do I have a motion?
Move the motion.
Second.
Call the vote.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
Thank you. Any matters from agency members? Seeing none, we will adjourn back to City Council. Okay, we'll reconvene City Council and go to consent items. It's recommended that all consent items A through L be acted on simultaneously unless anyone would like to pull an item. Are there any pulls? Anyone? None? Okay, I'm going to actually pull several, primarily because we have some proclamations and things like that. I don't think we need to pull A, right?
No.
Presented it?
No, we don't need to pull 3A, and I'm not sure if members in the audience are here for item 3B and or 3C. So is there Timothy Jones here?
Anyone here pertaining to Autism Awareness Month or pertaining to the DMV, what do we call it?
Donate Life.
Donate Life, yeah. No?
DMV, I guess it is, for the One Legacy proclamation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You're here on behalf of that?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay. But nobody for for autism awareness? Okay, then. I would like to pull C and E. And I'll move the balance. Call to vote.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
Okay, so item C is adoption of a proclamation declaring April 2018 as DMV Donate Life California Month. And with that, we have a proclamation that I would like to present to you. So if you could come on forward.
I have some goodies for you guys.
There you go. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Would you like to say anything on it?
Yes. My name is Timothy Jones, and I'm an ambassador for One Legacy. I'm also a heart recipient. I received a heart transplant 8 years ago. So this is a program that is very dear to my heart, okay, so to speak. Okay. So we just want to thank you for this proclamation, and thank you for being one of the cities in which that is promoting this type of program, because we lead a lot of donations for our heart and other organs in which that we have. So thank you so much. I also have some little things to pass out, whoever I can give this to. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And of course, the city attorney reminded me that we probably should have voted to approve the proclamation that I just gave to him. So I'd like to make a motion that we approve.
Second it.
3C. Call to vote.
Would you like
3C.
Would you like to take a photo with Mr. Jones?
Sure.
Yes, please, yeah.
Should we vote it first?
Can
Shall we
we both
vote?
vote?
Shall we vote it?
We got a motion and
Okay,
a
so
second.
who was the first?
3C, I did, and
And
I
Fat-
second it.
Yeah.
Okay.
call to vote. Or extra like that.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
Somebody get your. Yeah. We don't get talking for votes usually. Thanks.
Okay, and then 3E is adoption of a resolution in support of the Reducing Crime and Keeping California Safe Act of 2018. And I just want to pull that just to comment on it real quick. We've had early release programs happen in recent years. We've seen huge spikes in certain kind of crimes as a result of that. We've got a lot of problems on the streets, and our police can tell you all about them in terms of their efforts to try and deal with laws that have changed, restricting their ability to keep crime off of our streets. So this is a resolution being floated to try and turn some of that around, and the city is in approving this item will be voicing support for that act. So I'd like to move approval. Call to vote.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
Okay, thank you. That concludes consent items. We'll go on to public hearings. We just have one tonight, item 4A.
Item 4A is an approval of fiscal year 2018-19 action plan for the use of housing and urban development funds. And Mr. Robbins and Ms. Wilson are here to give the report.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor and members of council, we're here tonight to conduct a public hearing regarding the 2018-19 action plan for the use of housing and urban development, or HUD, funds, and to approve and direct staff to transmit the 18-19 action plan to HUD. The city annually receives federal grant funds for the administration and implementation of programs designed to assist low and moderate income Garden Grove residents. In order to access these funds, HUD requires a public hearing to be held to accept and record public comments regarding the city's proposed budget. The annual action plan must address the city's priority objectives adopted by the City Council in the 2015-2020 Consolidated Plan for the use of HUD funds. The full draft action plan is available and was available for public review at City Hall and at the city's website until today, April 10th, 2018. The city must submit the action plan to HUD by May 16th, 2018. Approximately $3.3 million in HUD funds will be available during fiscal year 2018-19. This budget includes $825,000 in prior year's HUD funds and new anticipated allocations of $2.5 million. Program plans and funding recommendations for 2018-19 are based upon the priority objectives established and public input received during the Community and Housing Development Needs Assessment conducted during the preparation of the 2015-2020 Consolidated Plan. During 2018-19, HUD funds will address a wider range of Garden Grove housing and community development needs, including affordable housing improvement and accessibility, which will utilize $943,000 in HUD funds to rehabilitate 30 single-family homes and assist developers in acquiring and or rehabilitating 7 dedicated affordable rental units. It'll be used for emergency solutions grants, or ESG. The maximum allowable amount of $160,000 is recommended for funding the 5 HUD-approved emergency service programs, which are street outreach, emergency shelter, homeless prevention, rapid rehousing, and data collection. The money will be used for public services. The funding in the Community Development and Block Grant, or CDBG public service category, is strictly limited by HUD to no more than 15% of the total allocation, which equates to just over $281,000. And staff recommends that we allocate every dollar available to assist low and moderate income Garden Grove residents. We'll use HUD funds to promote economic development. Approximately $150,000 in HUD funds is allocated for a small business loan program, which is designed to create 6 new jobs for Garden Grove residents. We'll use HUD funds for program planning and administration. Approximately $374,000 in CDBG home and ESG funds is recommended for staff salary and material costs for program management, project development and monitoring, public communication, HUD reporting, and financial administration. An additional $23,000 is recommended for associated overhead costs incurred by fellow city departments and the administration of HUD-funded programs. And finally, staff recommends just about $35,000 in funding for the Fair Housing Foundation to help the city fulfill its obligation to affirmatively further fair housing. HUD funds will be used for public improvements as well. Approximately $1.3 million in current and prior year's CDBG funds is recommended to address and improve the city's public infrastructure needs in low and moderate income neighborhoods. The city's exact allocations for the 3 funding sources, CDBG, Home, and ESG, are not yet known. The funding recommendations contained in the action plan are estimated based on prior year's allocations. Once the exact allocations are known, the proposed funding amounts for the activities included in the action plan will be adjusted accordingly. All HUD citizen participation requirements have been met. Public notices regarding the draft action plan, including an invitation to share comments at this public hearing, were published on or before February 22nd, 2018 in local English, Spanish, and Vietnamese language newspapers, which exceeds HUD's 30-day minimum public comment period. Staff recommends that City Council conduct a public hearing, accept comments, and following any council discussion, approve the 2018-19 action plan for the use of HUD funds, and authorize the city manager to negotiate and execute related documents and agreements. This concludes my report. Allison Wilson and I are here to answer any questions you guys might have. And we actually have a sub-recipient here that wants us to make some comments as well. So thank you.
Thanks, Nate. Any questions of staff?
Yeah, I have
Or
a question.
comment or anything before we get into the public hearing?
Just a quick question. So we have this allocation, we send it to the proper authority. So say we make a change or want to make a change. We have excess funds, we don't use all our funds. Can we have variations? Can we apply to that funding source and say, can we use this for another purpose that follow the guidelines?
Yes, sir. So the action plan that we submit is, it can be changed. If it's less than 30% of the total allocation with regards to the actual funding, we can change it internally without actually going back to HUD. We just let them know what the changes that we're making, and we can shift funds around based on, like you said, if we have different things come up that we want to do, or if we want to move funds around.
Okay.
It just depends on the amount that we're moving, determines how we have to go about
You
it.
said that amounts 30%?
Right, so
30%?
30% or more, it's a substantial amendment,
Mhm.
which takes a lot more reporting and requirements, whereas if it's less than that, we can shift things around without doing too much, just noticing, essentially.
Yeah, and obviously it has to follow the guidelines and be appropriate.
Correct.
Good, thank you.
Any others?
Just to comment, thank you guys for presenting this report to us, and I just wanted to draw our attention to page 129 of our books out of 379, which would be page 2 of the executive summary, just to highlight the bullet points, just because I think it's really important for us to acknowledge the great work that's being done. So it will result in the expansion of the city's affordable housing inventory by 7 units, through the new construction of affordable units for lower income households, and 14 units through acquisition rehabilitation of affordable units for lower income households. Provide rehabilitation assistance to 42 single family homes. Provide rental assistance to 20 very low and extremely low income households through TEBRA, is that how you say that? TEBRA, okay, program, and assist 2,500 persons with homelessness-related issues, improve the safety of 7,500 Garden Grove residents, and assist 3,000 persons through the provisions of community services. I don't know about you, but that sounds amazing, so thank you guys.
Do you have a question? Because it's a public hearing, so we're going to open it up and hear from the public, and then we can deliberate.
I
but
do.
If you have questions,
It is sort of a question, and then I may have a comment. But my only question is in regards to some of the homeless topics within this. We talked about Interval House, Thomas House, and Mercy House. I didn't see CityNet. Does that fall under this as well?
Yes, CityNet and Illumination Foundation are funded for street outreach with our Emergency Solution Grant funds.
Thank you.
Okay, we will open up the public hearing. I do have one card, so I'd like to ask Holly Hagler to come up now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the City Council. So nice to be here this evening. I wanted to let you know that I'm also accompanied by members of my staff also. My name is Holly Hagler. I'm CEO of Senior Serve, which provides the Meals on Wheels and congregate lunch program at the Senior Center here. And members of my staff, Sergio Espinoza and Irene Martinez, are accompanying us. And I wanted to just underscore something that you may be aware of, and that is that seniors are the only demographic in Orange County that's actually growing. Every single other demographic is decreasing. And I don't know if you remember, about almost a year ago, Meals on Wheels made the headlines when there was talk in Washington that CDBG funds would just be wiped out. They would not be included in the budget, and things like Meals on Wheels would be impacted, and Meals on Wheels didn't make a difference anyway. Well, I can assure you that Meals on Wheels do make a difference. In Garden Grove, we serve about 80 individuals annually who receive home-delivered meals and case management services through our Meals on Wheels program. And our congregate lunch program, the Hot Lunch program here at the Senior Center, is also part of that, where we serve 90 seniors a day, or about 500 different people annually. I wanted just to tell you briefly one story. You may recognize this individual, the gentleman over here on the left. And this is Richard. He's 66 years old and has been attending the Garden Grove H. Lewis Lake Senior Center for about 4 years. When he first started coming, he was the sole caregiver for his parents, who were over the age of 80, and his disabled sister, who was 55 years old. He couldn't work because of having to care for them, and he couldn't afford to buy groceries for them either. They were homeless, and they were all living in his minivan. Staff here in Garden Grove at the Senior Center reached out to various food banks, shelters, and housing organizations to assist them, and they now are living in affordable housing. During this time, Richard began volunteering in the Senior Center kitchen 5 days a week, serving lunch to the congregate program participants. He then started to volunteer at the registration desk 2 days a week, at the Senior Center coffee station 3 days a week, and also with special events. In 2017, he was recognized for his outstanding service and dedication to the H. Lewis Lake Senior Center and was awarded the Volunteer of the Year, so you may, as I say, recommend him as the Strawberry Ball King. Richard was also awarded as Senior Serves Volunteer of the Quarter that same year. Sadly, Richard lost his father in 2016. However, along with his mother and sister, they continue to attend and receive the hot lunch and the socialization that happens every single day here in Garden Grove at the Senior Center. They enjoy eating lunch, attending special events, and making social connections. At Senior Serve, we are so honored to have Richard as our volunteer. He's also a volunteer here for the city, and he is very reliable, kind, caring, and provides exceptional customer service. He is very grateful to have found the Senior Center and the lunch program, and as it has truly helped turn their lives around during their time of greatest need. They now lead happier, more independent lives and give back to the community. And this is just one of many, many examples about how lives are being changed here in Garden Grove through these programs that serve seniors. So thank you for caring about them, and thank you for supporting them with the CDBG funding.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak on this item?
Can I ask a question from here?
Probably could. Come on forward.
Mr. Mayor, council members, thought you were going to escape, didn't you? I do have a question, and this is ignorance on my part. I believe you said that part of the public funds would be used to improve residences of certain people?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what happens if they sell the house and make a profit?
So the program that we have for single-family rehab is called the Senior Home Improvement Grant. It's $5,000 grants to rehab major systems of the home, so leaking roof, faulty wiring, plumbing. It's not to put in a pool or install marble countertops. It's very essential systems in the home. ADA accessibility, putting in a walk-in shower for a disabled elderly resident. So there is no further monitoring. So if they do turn around and sell the house, that's not taken into account. But again, it's not necessarily to increase the equity in the home. It's to repair a faulty system, a major system of the home.
Well, if you get a copper repipe on a house or you replace all the wiring, I'm guaranteed that's going to increase the value. So there's no time limit? If somebody says, they get a grant for $5,000 to improve the house and sell it 2 months later and make a profit, they don't have to pay anything back? It's just free money?
Yes, sir, free money.
Can I get an application? No, I'm just kidding. Thank you. That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, council members, any questions, comments?
Yeah, follow-up question to that. They have to qualify for that
Yeah.
program as well. It's not anybody, any senior could walk in and ask for the $5,000 grant.
Yeah, anytime we use HUD funds, it's the requirements are very strict. So they have to income qualify based on how many people live in the home. The total income of the entire household can't be above a certain limit. So there's stringent underwriting that goes into it. What they can spend the money on, how they pick the contractor. There's a strict procurement requirement. So there's a lot of regulations that go into it. It takes about 9 months from start to finish. So it's not like we're just handing out $5,000 checks. It takes a while.
Yeah, well, put your hands back in your pockets, Leland.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, if not, do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Didn't come up? I'll do a roll call vote. Councilmember Beard?
Yes.
Councilmember O'Neill?
Yes.
Councilmember Tu Ha Nguyen?
Yes.
Councilmember Bowie?
Yes.
Councilmember Klopfenstein?
Yes.
Councilmember Kim Nguyen?
Yes.
And Mayor Jones?
Yes.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
Okay, we're moving on to items for consideration. Item 5A.
Item 5A is an adoption of a resolution to approve granting another designated period for 2 years additional service credit for eligible employees. And Ms. Eifert is here to give the report.
Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council, tonight before you, the resolution before you tonight is the next step to implement the early retirement program. On March 27, 2018, staff presented the required CalPERS financial disclosure for the program consistent with California Government Code 7507 and 2903. City Council approved the program and directed staff to bring forth a resolution to effectuate the program. Once adopted, eligible employees who wish to participate in the program will need to retire within the 90-day window beginning July 2, 2018 and ending October 1, 2018. It is recommended that the City Council adopt the attached resolution to grant another designated period for 2 years additional service credit for CalPERS members listed in Attachment B of your staff report who meet eligibility requirements. Staff is available to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Any questions of staff at this time? Okay. Any comments? This is just an item for consideration, so. Okay. I'll move approval that we adopt the attached resolution to grant another designated period for 2 years additional service to CalPERS.
Second.
Thank you. Call the vote.
I'm waiting for you.
I'm going to go ahead and take a roll call vote. Councilmember Beard?
Yes.
Councilmember O'Neill?
Yes.
Councilmember Chuha Nguyen?
Yes.
Councilmember Bowie?
Yes.
Councilmember Klopfenstein?
Yes.
Councilmember Kim Nguyen? And Mayor Jones.
Yes.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to item 5B.
For this item.
Item 5B is to appropriate funding and award a contract to WatchGuard, Inc. for in-car video and body-worn camera hardware and related components for the police department. And Captain Whitman is here to give the report.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, let me just make a brief comment before I introduce Captain Whitman to make some remarks. So the council members will remember that in the course of approving the 2-year budget last year, you approved the replacement of our in-camera video systems for all of our police vehicles. I know the police department's very thankful for that. And the systems were really old, really outdated, and as you know, we're always trying to work to provide transparency, trust with the community. So this was something that's very important to all of us. We, the police department, working in conjunction with our risk procurement people, took an RFP out for bid for the video cameras, and in the process of that, they got some recommendations for potentially adding body cameras to the system, since in a lot of cases these systems integrate together. So when they got some of those proposals back, they spent some time talking to our Police Management Association, our police union, along with our chief and our managers, to see if it made sense to bring something forward to me and ultimately to you to consider. And in looking at this report, we thought that there were some real benefits for all of us to consider, besides the transparency and the trust issues that we thought were important. It also potentially will help save us from a risk management and liability standpoint, from an insurance standpoint, by going in this direction. So I wanted to make just a couple of brief introductory comments, and with that I'll turn it over to Captain Whitman to walk you through the report.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Jones and members of the council. I'm here this evening to obtain City Council approval to appropriate funding and award a contract to WatchGuard Incorporated for the purchase, installation, and maintenance of in-car video system and body-worn cameras, hardware, and related components pursuant to RFP number S1223. The Garden Grove Police Department has utilized in-car videos, or IVS, for more than 15 years and is currently on the 3rd generation of equipment. The current system is at end of life, and a new IVS system was approved in the budgets for fiscal year 2017-18 and fiscal year 2018-19. The Police Department staff recognize the growing industry use of body-worn cameras and believe that the department would eventually deploy body-worn cameras as a component of the IVS system. In the request for proposal, competing vendors were required to include pricing for body-worn cameras as an option. The RFP process began August 16th of 2017, and the proposal document was posted on the city's website. The RFP was advertised on the same date and re-advertised on August 23rd of 2017. A mandatory pre-proposal meeting was held on August 30th with 7 vendors in attendance. 5 addenda were issued to answer questions from the proposers. 3 proposals were received by the due date, and the Source Selection Committee began the scoring process. The Source Selection Committee scored in 4 categories, including proposal response, cost, system quality and ease of use, and reference and demos. The competitive range score was set at 391, which kept 2 proposers in the RFP process for further consideration. The results of the Source Selection Committee reveal that the highest scoring proposer was WatchGuard Incorporated, since they demonstrated a complete understanding of the project, offered a system that best met the overall needs of the police department, received positive feedback from references, and offered a competitive pricing which is in line with the RFP requirements. Police management met with board members of the Garden Grove Police Association and discussed the addition of body-worn cameras to this project. It was determined that the department could reduce cost by purchasing a bundled IVS and body-worn camera system, since the body-worn camera functions as a microphone for the system, and an additional microphone would not have to be purchased. The finance director also agreed to utilize $100,000 of risk management fund money as an active risk management strategy to offset the increase in cost to add body-worn cameras to this project. For these reasons, the police management and the Garden Grove Police Association Board agreed that the combination system was the best option for the police department. The contract cost also increased by $110,599.48 due to an upgrade to the IVS camera that will allow a panoramic perspective and will capture GPS data when recording. The cost for the project in total is $676,233.43. The project cost will be spread over 2 years. The police department has budgeted $180,000 in supplemental law enforcement service fund monies, or SLEF, for fiscal year 2017 and 2018. The remaining first-year balance of $158,000 will need to be appropriated utilizing $100,000 from the Risk Management Fund and $58,000 of additional SLEF funding. For fiscal year 2018-19, $180,000 is budgeted from the general fund, with the remaining second-year balance of $158,000 funded with SLEF. This funding structure will have no further impact to the general fund other than what has already been approved in the fiscal year 2018-2019 budget. It is recommended that the City Council award a contract to WatchGuard Incorporated, the highest scoring proposer, in the amount of $676,233.43. Also appropriate $100,000 from the Risk Management Fund, $58,000 from the SLEF Fund to the 2017-2018 budget, and $158,000 from the SLEF Fund to the fiscal year 2018-2019 budget. And approve the cost of not more than 10% of the contract amount for unforeseen expenses during the project management and implementation stages of the project with the approval of the city manager or his designee, and authorize the city manager or his designee to execute the agreement on behalf of the city. This concludes my presentation, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Captain. Any questions? Please.
Just
Mayor Pro
a
Tem.
few detailed questions.
Sure.
Just to highlight, is that our current system is 15 years old.
Actually, our current system is just over 5 years. We've had 3 generations of systems over that time.
Okay, so next question is service agreement. We have a service agreement built into this cost, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
It's for 5 years.
And that includes program software upgrades and such?
It includes software maintenance, which if there's an issue with the software, they would be fixing the software issues.
Just a general question about the GPS feature of it. Does that mean it's capable? Can police officers, if they're away from their unit, can they be located?
We actually have GPS data that's collected in the officers or in the units currently. The significant part of the camera GPS data is for searching capabilities. So if we have an incident and we wanted to find out in a particular area which cameras were operating during the time of the incident, we could find it easily on the system with the GPS data. Okay,
I was just curious if it's also a locator for police officers, if they need to be located, if for police safety, not to track them, but in an emergency situation, they're down or something like that. Could that be used for locating them?
The GPS data for the body-worn camera and the IVS system would not be used for that purpose, but we already, with our Spillman system, which is a product we purchased about 3.5 years ago, that has GPS data built in,
For the
and
car.
that's in the car
Not
itself.
the individual, okay.
So we actually see a map with the cars driving on the map.
Great, that answers my question.
And just to follow up with the service agreement, you say service agreement is for 5 years coverage with,
That's correct. It's all bundled as a one package.
and beside the software update or upgrade for the equipment, the repairable or replaceable, is that included in the package as well?
That's also covered under the warranty, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Yeah. Can you let us know what brings us? I see in the table that WatchGuard is about, say, $90,000 more than L3 technology, and we select them, or you recommend that we select WatchGuard because even though the price is higher, but their final score is better than L3 technology. Can you explain to us how you scored these vendors?
Sure. It was scored by the Source Selection Committee in 4 separate categories, one of them being cost, and the other 3 were demonstrations and references, proposal response, and quality and ease of use. Each component were scored as a 25% weighted component, and the highest score, this WatchGuard, from the quality of the equipment itself and the ease of use, was far superior to L3.
Okay. If it does not violate any confidentiality clause from this vendor when they submit their proposal, could you share the scorings to the public in case they would like to see how this vendor are scored?
Yes, and we get requests for for that type of information all the time, usually by competitors or by vendors who didn't get the contract. And we normally do release in our RFPs. We ask proposers to identify what is trade secret or or confidential, and that information will be redacted. But the non-confidential information usually is shared.
Yes. Okay, good. Just want to make sure that if the public would like to see how it is being scored, they could request it. And thank you very much. No further question.
I have 2 questions, actually. Just to follow up with the WatchGuard Incorporated, are they local? Or are they the office local? So if anytime we have a software problems, we could be able to contact them and they respond us within a short time.
Yes, we do have a local representative for WatchGuard.
Okay. Actually, I asked 2 questions for one.
One quick question, just to clarify for the benefit of the public, we had already approved this in our 2-year budget for new system in the cars and a microphone on the police officer. But during the procurement of getting in the proposals, we learned that for us a little increased cost, we can actually do the body cam. So that's when we wanted to find the appropriate funds, which you had done. So we're able to get those body cams for just a little bit of an increase in the price that we originally budgeted, right?
That's correct.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Just one final question. I thought of something. So other police departments, the major cities also have these body cams, correct?
Yes, several agencies in Orange County have body cams, and Tustin PD actually has the WatchGuard system. And we actually went to Tustin to do a site visit.
And they recommend it too?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Any other comments, questions? Motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Call vote.
It's really acting up tonight. Councilmember Beard?
Yes.
Councilmember O'Neill?
Yes.
Councilmember Tu Ha Nguyen?
Yes.
Councilmember Bui?
Yes.
Councilmember Klopfenstein?
Yes.
Councilmember Kim Nguyen?
Yes.
And Mayor Jones?
Yes.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to matters. We do have one listed, which is 6A, having to do with color schemes. I would ask, dear colleagues, we resist the temptation to make this any more than about a 10-second item. We actually already gave direction at the last meeting. I believe this is only coming back because we had a sample of a bus bench painted. Is that correct? And we got a picture of it, which I believe we've all seen. So is there any need for a report or anything, or can we just say, go?
There's no need for a report out unless the council.
I'd like to make a
asks us to.
motion to take the staff recommendation and move to approve.
Second.
Call to vote.
No comment before the vote?
If you must.
It didn't want me to vote.
It's not working?
It's funky.
Councilmember Beard.
Yes.
Councilmember O'Neill.
Yes.
Councilmember Tu-Ha Nguyen.
Yes.
Councilmember Bowie.
Yes.
Councilmember Klopfenstein.
Yes.
Councilmember Kim Nguyen.
Yes.
And Mayor Jones.
Yes.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Thanks, AJ. You rock. Okay, so matters. Kim Nguyen. Nothing. Stephanie?
Two items. Facebook. We probably have heard it from a lot of news outlets that Facebook privacy have been, somehow privacy information might be shared with a researcher in New England. And Facebook today has put a link to let us know, to let anyone that have a Facebook account to find out whether our personal information have been shared with the publisher in England. I mean, the researcher in England. And I did took that opportunity to see whether my personal information have been shared or not. And so when I go to Facebook, go to the Help Center and search for Cambridge, it will have a link to let you find out whether your personal information has been shared. Now, there are two ways for the information to be shared to that researcher in New England. I mean, in England. One is if you log into Facebook application on your cell phone, it will be shared. And not only it is shared, your personal information will be shared. Many of the friends of you on Facebook account will also be shared. And when I searched on it, it said, great, Phạt Bui, your personal information, you did not log into a Facebook app and your information was not shared that way. However, there are numerous of your fans have logged into that application. So your personal information has been shared with that researcher. And because I have thousands of friends on Facebook, and many of them, I don't know how many, but many of them have logged into Facebook using, that app. So through their login, my personal information has been shared with that researcher in England. So if you are concerned about it, you, even though you cannot do anything, the damage is already done, but at least you know whether your information has been shared or not. And that is something that I thought the public might like to know. Second issue is that last week I asked IT to look into our, computer system to see why the voting sometimes takes so long, or sometimes we have so many issues. And again today, 2 weeks later, we still have experienced that issue 3 or 4 times. Could you, Scott, ask IT to contact the vendor and have it look into and let us know at the next meeting what is causing this and what can we do to minimize it?
Council member, yes, we will report back. I know they've been having some conversations with the vendor.
Yeah.
And at the next
Already
meeting,
looking into it.
and at the next meeting, we'll report out on where we stand with it, what we can do, what changes we can make.
Great, thank you.
Tu-Ha.
Over the weekend, there's a training hosted by Asian Pacific American Institutions for Congressional Study, as well in partnership with the League of California Asian Pacific Islander API Caucus, hosting a leadership training in Orange County for the very first time. The training basically providing resources for the anyone in the community, community leaders, or anyone who interested in doing civic engagement or running for office. And City of Garden Grove, my colleagues, very grateful, Mayor Jones and Economic Development Director Lisa Kim volunteered to be the panelist for one of the Economic Development panel. And they are greatly appreciated by the attendees because the attendees, provide a lot of information of what to look forward. Also, I would like to thank you to my colleague, Councilmember Kim Nguyen. She also attended one of the training as well. Along with that, I just want to reach out to say thank you to Lan Nguyen from the Garden Grove Unified School District. He also volunteered to be a panelist for the education panel. So thank you to all.
I just wanted to acknowledge some of the presentations and the speakers tonight, especially Sister Breed O'Shea from St. Columban's. She's such a humble person that she wouldn't even speak, after she was recognized. But she is truly a woman of God, and she is so humble and gives herself completely to others and her church and to God. I had the pleasure of escorting her when she got the Cypress College Americana Awards a month back or so. So I'm a graduate of St. Columban's School in 1979. When I was there, they didn't have a preschool. So I went to Reverend Schuler's church because they had a preschool. And then after that, I went to kindergarten in Gilbert, and then to St. Columban's, and then Rancho Alamitos. But anyway, Sister Breed O'Shea, thank you very much for your work. Moving on to Autism Awareness Month, if you have you're a piece of the puzzle. We're all a piece of the puzzle with autism, education, understanding, and for those that have an autistic child or an adult, it's very challenging. And I think just the awareness of all of us knowing what it's about when you're in a room with that person, and the understanding and the knowledge of the situation that's happening there. But we've come a long way in the last 15 years. I have a nephew that's 14 that is autistic, and just to see the strides that the not only the education but the medical and teaching, and they've learned so much and done so much. And then the Carpenters Union, I was excited to see them here tonight. My nephew, it's ironic because he's in Pennsylvania, young adult, in his mid-20s, just got into the Carpenters Union in Pennsylvania. And he's just a guy with a lot of energy, wants to work with his hands, was always struggling after post-high school, what he was going to do with his life. He got into the Carpenters Union about a year ago, and now he's working on big bridges in Pennsylvania, and he just moved into his first home that he was able to purchase with the help of my brother and his fiance, and bought his first home. So be safe, but I really appreciate the trade unions and the apprenticeships that they have to take those kids out of high school that may not be going to a four-year college. There are many trades, skilled crafts trades and other trades that you can get into to have a very good means of life and a skilled trade, and you can go work anywhere and make good money. And then lastly, the DMV Donate Life. Please consider that on your driver's license if you want to donate your body to science or your parts. I mean, I hate to say it like that, but one donation of your body could, a person's eyes. The gentleman that was here, a heart transplant. It's unbelievable. Yeah. I think there's 75 different things you can do. But my brother-in-law, I had a brother-in-law that passed away suddenly at 38 years old. About it was about 29 years ago, and they were able to use his cornea. So someone else got their sight from him. So consider doing that. That's all I have. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to wish Councilman Bowie a happy birthday. I'd also like to ask that I'd like to agendize an item for next meeting, actionable item. I have been working on a resolution with some citizens, and I'd like to agendize consideration to designate West Garden Grove as the West Grove District to recognize and memorialize its contributions to the city, but mostly to use this designation as a means to promote continued neighborhood pride, commercial revitalization, and hopefully some investment in that area. So we have similar regions and areas in the city. We have Little Saigon, we have the Resort District, modeling my resolution after those. We have Main Street, historic Main Street. We also have the Korean Business District. So in line with those designations, I'd like to put that forth to agendize, discuss, and hopefully have some action to consider a resolution designating West Garden Grove as West Grove, the district. And that's a motion.
Yeah, I'll second the motion.
You want to try it this way?
Let's try it.
It'll work? Okay.
Call to vote.
It's not working.
Nope.
Councilmember
It's only a
Beard.
couple
Yes.
people got it.
Councilmember O'Neill.
Yes.
Councilmember Tuhawin.
Yes.
Councilmember Bowie.
Yes.
Councilmember Klopfenstein.
Sure, yes.
Councilmember Kim Nguyen.
Yes.
And Mayor Jones.
Yes.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
Thank you. City Manager Scott Stout.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, just one quick moment of thanks to our fire department and our code enforcement people. We early yesterday morning, we had a explosion at a small chemical manufacturing facility. Probably saw some of the news, some information about it reported in some of the news media. It's just a reminder for all of us of what our code enforcement people are doing, why we're working some of our businesses and manufacturing facilities. Thankfully, it happened in the middle of the night. No one was injured. Our goal will be to get everybody up and back in business as quickly as possible. But I just wanted to kind of give a quick little shout out to them and the code enforcement folks and the fire inspection people. That's why they do what they do, to help prevent situations like that from happening. So a little bit of thanks to them. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. A few things. One is I want to suggest that we cancel our May 22nd City Council meeting. That is when the ICSC conference is going on out in Las Vegas. A few of us are going, at least. And that Monday and Tuesday are kind of the key days when all the meetings happen. I know our staff is always very aggressive about booking the calendar full of meetings with retailers, with developers, finance companies, the whole bit. So canceling that meeting would allow those of us who are out there to stay later that night. I've conferred with staff, and I don't believe we have any pressing items on the horizon that we think we couldn't just push back to the following meeting if we skip one. So I'd like to move that we cancel our May 22nd council meeting. Okay, call the vote.
Okay. Councilmember Beard.
Yes.
Councilmember O'Neill.
Yes.
Councilmember Tuhawin.
Yes.
Councilmember Bowie.
Yes.
Councilmember Klopfenstein.
Yes.
Councilmember Kim Nguyen.
Yes.
And Mayor Jones.
Yes.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
Thank you. And we will adjourn tonight's meeting in memory of recognized veterinarian and esteemed community leader, Dr. William Grant, who passed away March 12th. Also a friend of my father's. A devoted veterinarian for 50 years, Dr. Grant and his wife, Ginny, founded the Community Veterinary Hospital, Animal Friends Pet Hotel and Grooming, and Animal Discount Clinic in Garden Grove. Dr. Grant was president of the Southern California Veterinary Medical Association and served on the American Veterinary Medical Association Professional Liability Trust Board and the California Veterinary Medical Board. Dr. Grant was also a member of the Garden Grove Host Lions Club and Garden Grove Elks Lodge. After retiring from veterinary practice, he became an avid avocado farmer in Valley Center, California. I never knew that. Dr. Grant is survived by his children, Dr. William Grant II, Dr. George Grant, and Linda Keller, and their respective spouses, and 7 grandchildren. The city expresses heartfelt condolences to the family. Thank you. And we are adjourned. We do have a closed session item, I believe, right? So we're going to adjourn
Yes,
closed
we
session.
do have 2 closed session items.
2 closed session items. And before we do that, we invite everyone to come join us for cake for Councilmember Bowie's birthday. And we're adjourned.